The end of the Nottingham inquiry hearings is no more than a temporary pause. The families continue to fight on many fronts for truth, accountability and change in the face of cover-up and subterfuge. They thank you for the vital role you play in supporting them, spreading awareness and keeping pressure on government to effect meaningful change.
I believe the Nottingham inquiry would provide some answers to why and as to what happened that day and in the lead up to that day. I wanted to understand how an animal like Valdo Calocane could be allowed to roam the streets and be free to do what he did. I hoped it would give me some form of closure and allow me to finally begin the grieving process properly. What we have endured in this inquiry, whilst leaving us with many more questions, has shown the catastrophic failings from all services and agencies involved. It has shown a lack of candour and blatant cover-ups.
On the 13th of June, and for what felt like a very long time after, we believed that the institutions of Nottingham had done everything they could and continued to fight in our corner to uncover the truth and give us the answers we desperately needed. Unfortunately, we were delusional in our ignorance. I wholeheartedly believed justice would be served, and I was wrong. Dad, Barney and Grace had been absolutely let down by the people I had previously held in such high regard. What has been revealed during the evidence of the inquiry has utterly astounded and disgusted me. Over the course of the inquiry, the true harrowing scale of the failures and laziness and negligence has finally been laid bare for the public to finally see. My eyes have been opened to what the public don't see behind closed doors. The failed warrant, the police have openly apologised to us during this inquiry for failing to execute that warrant. If they'd simply done their jobs and arrested him, there is a possibility my dad could still be alive today. The NHS discharge, to find out that a person that was someone well was simply just sent back out into the public because his doctors and the psychiatrist couldn't find him, just astounds me. To learn that that's the sort of thing that goes on in the NHS, it's unbelievable. And the fact that there was a psychiatrist that warned that it could go on to kill someone.
But yes, we want accountability. We're here for changes. But personally, I think, and the whole family, these guys are with me, we want action. We want action against these public servants that on the 13th of June 2023, when it changed all of our lives.
For months we've sat through the statutory public inquiry and watched the evidence unfold. It's been brutal, bruising and harrowing beyond measure, but it was so very necessary. Just look at what it has uncovered. Every single agency failed. Every single one, without exception. Mental health services failed to treat and manage. Police repeatedly failed to act. Agencies didn't talk. Individuals chose to look the other way. Warnings were ignored. People chose not to care or be curious. And the fear of stigma and bias was placed above safety and duty. And when it went wrong, too many closed ranks instead of owning their mistakes. There's cover-up over candour. This wasn't bad luck or an exception in Nottingham. It was a catastrophic collapse of responsibility. There is also the undoubted miscarriage of justice that must now be addressed. Valdo Calocane got away with murder. He took 3 innocent lives, tried to take 3 more, and the system let him plead to manslaughter. No murder conviction, no trial, no proper punishment that reflects what he did. That decision robbed Barnaby, Grace and Ian of justice, and it robbed us of the truth in a court of law.
The Prime Minister said yesterday that we are living in the most dangerous and volatile times internationally. To be prepared for this, we must have a safe and a stable country for our own people first. Saying that, I don't want to leave you in any doubt that, in my opinion, Valdo Calocane should have been convicted of cold-blooded, calculated murder of 3 innocent people, one of which was my brave and beautiful daughter Grace.
Throughout the inquiry we've heard so many failings from so many different public bodies. Is there something you specifically think is the biggest biggest issue here and what needs to be done to address it?
I think mental health. Mental health is managed in this country, and the approach that the government has is this a failure to recognise, particularly those who are the most seriously unwell, that are a danger not just to themselves but to their families or to the public. It seems to be the hot potato that no one wants to deal with. The police don't want to deal with it. I think right care, right person clearly doesn't appear to be working. There's definitely the resources and everything are not in place, and that's not to, for me to go into in great detail, but yeah, that's the key factor in our case. Had Calocane been managed and treated appropriately, then without doubt Barney Grayson would still be here today.
So, sorry.
Oh, so I just literally to say that mental health, and it's again, we've had people say, I've had someone say to me once, it's like an attack on people with mental. This is definitely not an attack with people with mental health. This is these people need help, and the vast majority of them are law-abiding, lovely people that are just trying to deserve the care, deserve the help. And to be fair, even people, I hate to say it, but even people like Calocane deserved the help. He didn't want it, and he was not prepared to have it, but he should have had it. But I think the moment that stuck out to me through this entire inquiry is the fact that the mental health, that everything seems to be geared up around suicide and, basically the patient confidentiality. It just all seems to be about the patient, the person, which is absolutely correct. But I think the moment it strays into public safety, that's it, all bets are off. It's you've got to move down a different track at that point.
Safety has to come first.
You have to. Yeah.
And these restrictive measures are entirely appropriate, but the most appropriate care is more important. And if that needs to be more robust and it needs to be more assertive, then so be it.
Yeah.
Do you think then that there are too many sort of dangerous mentally unwell people walking the streets?
Yeah.
I think in the short answer, yes.
All the time. Yeah, I mean, clearly as evidenced in just recent horror attacks, and there's been many since Nottingham in 23. So here we are 3 years later, and I would say the situation's getting worse. It's not getting better, and this is because people are not being detained, whether it's in the criminal justice system or whether it's in the mental health system, and it's got to be addressed. It needs to be addressed. It has to be.
Yeah.
It's a must.
Yeah.
Talking specifically about sort of seedier people in these institutions. And you mentioned earlier about them taking early retirement, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
How are we really going to get accountability from those people?
It's a very good question. It's a hard one to answer. I mean, I think obviously we don't want to get too far down with regards to litigation and stuff, but where our legal team finished with their sort of work on the inquiry on Friday. They now pick up what do we do with the rest, and with regards to the bodies, like the GMC, the NMC, with the IOPC. It's those that are still in role will have to address that through whatever their professional bodies are, or the whichever tier of management they have above them. With regards to those that have left, we'll have to come back to you on that. But I do hold people to account, and I will hold people to account, and whatever that means. But we need to make sure we know. We have a clear plan, but anyone that sort of behaves so disgustingly and with data breaches, then we will take the full course of action available to us.
I think the thing that was said to me, and this the last thing I'll say is at the end of, I was sat with Neil in the room downstairs in the inquiry, and I said to Neil, this is coming to an end now, and he just looked at me and said, it's just starting. And I just sort of almost fell off my chair thinking, what do you mean it's just starting? This has been, so intense. He just said, Dave, he said, what we've just been through, what you've now got, he said, now we've got to do something about it. And I'm like, oh.
So the work
I didn't really
here.
think that. But yeah, so the work starts now, really.
Thank you.
Surviving victims, Wayne Burkitt and Sharon Miller, are Nottingham residents. Hard-working people who were walking to work on the morning of the attacks. They sustained life-changing physical and psychological injuries, but have sadly been overlooked by the public services that were meant to protect them. The inquiry has been a long and painful process for the victims and their families, but they have remained determined to play an active role in the proceedings. The evidence heard during the inquiry has confirmed that there was no single failure, but rather a series of systematic failures that occurred across multiple public bodies that resulted in devastating consequences for so many people. There were clear warning signs and missed opportunities, and obviously poor coordination between the agencies, which allowed critical gaps to develop. In the immediate aftermath of the attacks, there was a failure to recognise and respond appropriately to serious injury, particularly the brain injury that was suffered by Wayne. We often found that the support that was given to the surviving victims